You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, the Celtics off and running in defense of their NBA title from last June. Take game one of their opening round playoff series against the Orlando Magic on Sunday. Derrick White, big, knocking down 7 threes, but the Celtics defensively really taking care of business against the Orlando Magic, and the playoff crowd on hand at TD Garden on Easter Sunday. With that, we welcome you into our latest Locked On Celtics postcast and our first of the 2025 NBA playoffs. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime basketball play-by-play announcer for a short time there, way back in the 1990s, last man on the JV squad at Division III SUNY Brockport. And again, that was a long time ago. You are right where you need to be on this Easter Sunday. You are locked on with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, providing reaction to the Celtics Game 1 victory against the Orlando Magic at TD Garden. You know that the Locked On Celtics podcast feed is also where we have the Locked On Celtics postcast free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We're on our Locked On Celtics postcast, first edition of the playoff round, and the Celtics do take on game one. We're going to discuss the game one victory against Orlando. Derrick White, big game, 30 points, leading the way in scoring. Celtics win game one without KP, doing a whole heck of a lot on the offensive end, and that's a positive for the Celtics, and defensively, they got after it against the Magic. Let's hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers. Join this Celtics conversation, watching live with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit that comment button. Join the conversation. You can also hit me up and follow on X at Lennox on Hoops. This episode of the Locked On Celtics postcast presented by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Celtics pick up the game one victory, up by 8 after 1. Derrick White showed that he was ready to go for the playoffs, scoring 8 points and knocking down a couple of threes in that first quarter. Second quarter, Orlando outscoring the Celtics 31-22 and actually went into the locker room at halftime up 1, 49-48. But the Celtics in the third took the lead and basically extended the lead and kept it to double figures. Never trailed at any point in the fourth quarter. Celtics outscoring the Magic 30-18, led by as many as 17, up by 11 going to the fourth quarter. And the fourth quarter really got underway with the end of the third quarter as Franz Wagner hit a couple of free throws. They had 0.5 of a second, I believe, on the clock. Celtics did get a shot off, and the Celtics taking that lead of 11 points to the fourth quarter. And Derrick White, a layup, then Hauser, a block, Pritchard knocking down a three. Actually, White opened up the fourth with a three-pointer, then had a layup. Hauser with a block on the defensive end, then Pritchard hit a three. Celtics off to an 8-2 start and up 86-69 early on in the fourth quarter as the Celtics do pick up the victory.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Yeah, it was a third quarter for the Celtics. Orlando in this game, you just take a look at all four quarters for the Magic. 18 points in the first quarter, 31 points in the second quarter, again, led by 1 going into halftime. But the Celtics holding Orlando to 55 points in 3 of the 4 quarters. Orlando scoring just 18 points in the third quarter, 19 points in the fourth quarter. And Orlando as a team, just 14 of 36 from the field in the second half and 3 of 9 on the three-point line. And I think that is a big key for the Celtics going forward in this series.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Hear from you in just a moment. If you're with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, hit the comment button, join the conversation. But I think a big thing in this series, the Celtics knocking down 16 threes total, well below their season average in terms of three-point field goal attempts. But the Celtics, 16 of 37, 43% on the three-point line. Orlando knocking down 10 of 27 three-point attempts. And the Magic never really got into it in the fourth quarter and never really made a run. And the Celtics are a team that can get back into games by knocking down threes. Orlando really doesn't have that ability. They haven't shown it all season long. They don't knock down a ton of threes. They don't live and die by the three. They know what they are. They're going to try to get points on the inside. Now, Paolo Banchero, terrific. 36 points to lead all scorers. But nobody else really outside of Banchero and Wagner doing a whole heck of a lot offensively. We'll get into that in numbers of the night. But Derrick White, terrific. Knocking down 7 threes. White, 10 of 18 from the field, 7 of 12 on the three-point line, 3 of 3 at the free throw line. And Derrick White leading the way, 30 points. Mike Breen mentioned it on ABC late in the fourth quarter. Derrick White, his third career game with 30 or more points in a playoff game. And Drew Holiday was on the ABC broadcast at the end of the third quarter going to the fourth quarter and basically said, in that third, we got more physical on the defensive end. And they did. And Drew Holiday basically saying they threw some punches in the first half. We were more physical in the second half. It's the playoffs. That in every way, from the playoff crowd, kudos to the crowd at TD Garden on Easter Sunday, into it from the beginning, from the intensity, and even in the fourth quarter, a flagrant foul on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I'm going to touch on that in the second segment because that flagrant upgraded to a flagrant 1. Tatum missed 2 free throws, empty trip as they could not extend the lead there, but they did on the next possession as they got a defensive stand. But that flagrant foul on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in the fourth quarter, I think, does set a tone for the rest of this series. We'll touch on more of that in segment number 2. But Derrick White, just outstanding. White, a 3 in the fourth quarter, his 7th of the game, putting the Celtics up by 19, and they win it. Win it in convincing fashion, I think. Again, mention 55 points in 3 quarters, and they scored 31 points for Orlando in that second quarter. That's just not Orlando shooting. That's the Celtics putting things together and a playoff effort on the defensive end. Let's get to your comments. With us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Join in, and we're just getting started. Celtics were 16-3 on their run to an NBA title last spring into June. And they're off to a good start. Mike Breen late on ABC basically saying they've got a long way to go, but certainly Sunday, a victory against Orlando, a good start to the 2025 NBA playoffs for the Boston Celtics. Game 2 in Boston on Thursday. We'll touch on that as well coming up in segment number 2. The Real Darrell starts us off. Thumbs up, the Real Darrell. There we go. There's the thumbs up. The role players in defense won game 1. And we'll get into the bench. Payton Pritchard, 19 points. Again, you win this game. You hold Orlando below 100 points. You win this game without Tatum. Tatum double-double. Solid performance. But he didn't go off. It was Derrick White. And Pritchard with a strong performance off the bench as well. Banchero, Wagner, nothing else offensively for the Orlando Magic. Will the rest, every player on Orlando, outside of those two, they're going to come. They're going to come on Wednesday in game 2. Embarrassed? No, I don't think so. But I think they'll just be better overall in game 2 on Wednesday. We'll see. Akram, great second half. It really was. It really was for the Celtics. Never really challenged at any point in the second half once they took the lead. Got the lead up to 17 points, trailed by 1, and that was it in the third quarter. Got the lead up to 17 points. In the fourth quarter, they got it up to 19. 19. And the Celtics, again, never trailed in the fourth quarter. Orlando never really made any type of run. Again, the defense, but they had a couple of sloppy turnovers in there as well. And what was the turnover numbers? 15-9. That's something else. Orlando, you're going to commit 15 turnovers against the defending NBA champs in a game, in a playoff game, you're not going to have success. The Real Darrell one more time. NBA needs to go ahead and name Pritchard Sixth Man of the Year. He had the Magic players yelling at each other. Love it. Great observation there from the Real Darrell. Somebody the other day, and I didn't write it down because I just thought it was ridiculous. They're emphatic that somebody else, and I forget who the player was, but, absolutely Sixth Man of the Year. Maybe they get votes. Maybe they finish a close second, but the way Payton Pritchard played this year, I think at some point here in the playoffs, he gets recognized as the 24-25 Sixth Man of the Year for the NBA season. PK Tattoos checking in. Hard to feel concerned about losing to the Magic. Run here, run there, but the Celtics are just too good on both ends. You really do, though. you want to go to Orlando for game 3 this upcoming Friday, up 2-0 in the series. A lot of people are predicting Celtics in 5. That's a 2-0 lead after the first 2 games at home. That's a split in Orlando, and that's coming home and winning game 5. It's 2-2, 1-1-1. You don't want to have to go back to Orlando for a game 6. And I was emphatic. Final weeks of the regular season, we had a lot of discussion. Who do you want to see in the NBA playoffs? Orlando scares me. Trae Young, bye-bye. I was wrong on that, right? Because Trae Young individually can scare you, especially late in the game. What is Banchero? Close game, Wednesday or Friday, game 2 or game 3 in Boston or in Orlando. Banchero's going to have the ball in his hands late in the game. And it was all Banchero. And they gushed over him, and rightfully so. They weren't over the top. Banchero is a terrific talent. Stay healthy. He's got a bright future. And Orlando can build on this. Even if they got swept or lose in 5 to the Boston Celtics, they're not going to be a 500 team next year. They're going to be a better than 500 team in the East. And they're certainly a team that'll move up. They may be a top 3, top 4 team. This year, the number 7 seed. The Real Darrell, KP 5 points, Orlando still losing by 17, says a lot about the difference between Boston and Orlando. It does. And that was a theme to the regular season overall. The Celtics are very unselfish in the sense that it does not matter who leads the team in scoring. It doesn't. Derrick White led the Celtics in plenty of games. Pritchard, a couple of games where he just went off. With and without Brown and Tatum in the lineup. And let's get to Brown for just a moment here. Had the time off and looked good. Deep bone bruise in the knee. It's something he's going to deal with. But that time off and everything that Joe Mazzulla was quoted as saying, Boston Globe and all the different media outlets around Boston, he did exactly what he needed to do to get himself ready for this playoff series. Again, we'll see what happens on Wednesday. We'll know a little bit better as to where he is with the injury, if he's listed on the injury report as doubtful or if he misses a game here in the playoff series. But the best thing the Celtics can do right now, and I've said it and I've been emphatic about it, and end this series as quickly as possible. It saves everybody. You saw Pritchard at one point grimacing. You saw Tatum with the hard foul. Touch on that again in segment number 2. It was upgraded to a flagrant 1. He was holding his right wrist, flexing his right wrist multiple times. It's going to happen. It's going to be more physical the rest of the way. So if you can end the opening round playoff series as quickly as possible, that's advantageous for round 2, Eastern Conference Finals, and the NBA Finals if you get there. Again, I think that flagrant foul sets a tone for the rest of the series. That could be to the detriment of either the Celtics or the Magic. I'm going to get into that, share my thoughts with that in our next segment. Celtics win game 1, and they do it in impressive fashion against the Orlando Magic. Happy to have you on board. Happy Easter to those who celebrate. My very best wishes on this Easter Sunday to you and your family. Locked On Celtics Postcast, and we are presented by our friends at FanDuel. NBA playoffs are here. FanDuel right now giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you are going to get $250 in bonus bets if that $5 bet wins. With FanDuel, you are going to love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking your favorite team or diving into those player props. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips, you can even combine live prop bets in a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Celtics pick up the victory against Orlando. Will try to go up 2-0 in their opening round playoff series on Wednesday at TD Garden. Locked On Celtics Postcast, Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day, also presented by DoorDash. NBA fans, you know what time it is. Playoff season is here, and that means big performances and even bigger rewards. DoorDash is bringing the heat with a slam dunk deal for Dash Pass members during the 2025 NBA playoffs. It's called They Swoosh, You Score. Anytime a player drops 50 or more points in a playoff game, Dash Pass members score a free 3-piece crispy tenders combo from Wingstop the very next day. All you have to do is place your order of $20 or more. Use code WINGSTOP50 at checkout, and that combo is yours. Crispy, delicious, and totally free. Offer valid from noon to midnight the day after the game, and a 50-point performance. Yes, terms do apply. Again, very simple. Right now, if you are ordering your wings and reliving the highlights, imagine being rewarded with free food just because someone in the NBA playoffs goes off for 50 or more. So here's the play. Sign up for Dash Pass to unlock this and more exclusive deals all season long. When a player scores 50 or more in a playoff game, Dash Pass members can grab a free 3-piece crispy tender combo from Wingstop the next day with a $20 or more order. You can use Wingstop, code Wingstop50. That's Dash Pass, your door to more savings, more flavor, and more ways to win. Again, terms do apply. Celtics pick up the victory. Continue with your comments. Don't forget to tell your friends all about us. We expect big numbers as the Celtics are here. Hey, if you were with us during the NBA regular season with Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of the Locked On Sports Network, then be with us here. 1 down, 15 to go. Each of the rounds in the NBA playoffs and NBA finals, best of 7. Remember back in the day, best of 5 opening round playoff series. I like the best of 7. I really do for the opening round. Perfectly fine with it. Celtics pick up the win. Payton Pritchard off the bench, scoring 19. Al Horford had 5 points, 5 rebounds. Horford also had 3 assists. Luke Kornet, just 2 points. Kornet, just 1 rebound. You know he was a -7 overall for the game. And Sam Hauser did not score, was a +9, had a big block, had 3 rebounds in the game as well. But White goes for 30, 19 for Pritchard off the bench, 17 for Tatum. He had the double-double with 17 points, 14 rebounds, 22 assists in the victory for the Celtics, who also knocked down 16 threes. I would have been perfectly fine if the foul on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and sometimes you call it basketball justice, common foul to a flagrant 1 in that fourth quarter. Tatum missed both free throws, and then I think it was White on the baseline on the ensuing possession who missed, and the Celtics had an empty trip. So kind of basketball justice. But upgraded to a flagrant foul on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Orlando missed on the other end, then Pritchard had a layup to put the Celtics up 91-73. That gave Pritchard 19. That's what he finished with. But 2 players came over. Tatum attacked the rim beautifully, went hard to the floor. They went to the review. And rightfully so. Richard Jefferson with Mike Breen, Doris Burke. Hey, that look, if that's going to be a flagrant foul, I think you set a tone for the rest of the series. The next time an Orlando player or a Celtics player goes hard, you're going to have to call that a flagrant foul again. So you've really defined what you're going to call as a flagrant foul in this series going forward. And don't think for a second, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope got a flagrant foul. I'm not gonna hit someone hard on their way to the basket. This is a playoff series. No, this is going to be a physical series. We know things change in the NBA playoffs. Tighter whistle, more physical, more half court. But it's going to be interesting to see if there's another flagrant foul in this series or another hard foul. Is it simply upgraded? And it could come at even more of a crucial point in a game. That happened in the fourth quarter. That could happen going forward in another game in this series in the fourth quarter with a lot closer than what the Celtics had at the point in time, a double-digit lead. So we'll see how that plays out. Pascal, thanks for checking in. Pascal, is Tatum okay? I think he is. I think he's, again, no one's 100%, and I know that's cliche to say, but no one at this point in time is 100% for anybody playing in the NBA playoffs. He took a hard fall. I thought he hit more hard on his side than he did on either wrist, but cameras being where they're at, and they're going to try to focus in on everything and document everything. He was grimacing and he was holding and he's flexing that right wrist. Missed the 2 free throws right after. But again, he's going to get treatment. I don't think there's anything broken in there. But again, they may have to figure it out. He did knock down a 3 after that flagrant foul. He had opened up 0 of 6 on the 3-point line. And his 3 late in the fourth quarter put them up by 18 points. So could there be something? Yes. But Pascal, he's playing. He's not going to be out game 2. I'd be shocked if you were. I think we'd all be shocked. Hammer. Derrick White is the GOAT. He is the Buffalo. Yeah. He should, Hammer, I think you'll understand this. Derrick White should have his number retired to Colorado. Michael, Orlando, physical like the bad boys. Orlando's going to have to play physical, and this is going to get more physical. And as Drew Holiday said on ABC at the start of the fourth quarter, they punched us. They gave us some punches in the first half. You don't want it getting out of hand. You don't want it reckless. But this is going to be a physical series. And at some point, it's go time for Orlando. You score only 86 points in game 1. And you have to go forward. They shot 42% from the field. They only had 2 players in double figures. 3 of their starters, Joseph did not score. Took just 1 shot. 10 points combined for Caldwell Pope and Wendell Carter Jr. The bench, 7 for Jonathan Isaac off the bench. 3 for Black. 4 for Cole Anthony. And Anthony's a guy who scares me because he's done it against the Celtics. You want to call him inconsistent, go right ahead. But he scored 4 points for Orlando off the bench in game 1. He could easily be right up there with Banchero and go for 25 or more in game 2. Certainly game 3 or game 4 back at home. Game 2 comes on Wednesday, and you get a couple of days here. But game 3 Friday, game 4 would be next Sunday in Orlando. And then if there needs to be a game 5, and Celtics close out in 5, you go from there. That would be back at home the following week. So you get 2 days now, adjustments, all the different things that are going to come into play for both teams. But if the Celtics can put up another defensive effort in game 2 like they did in game 1, 31-point second quarter for the Orlando Magic, but 55 points total for the other 3 quarters, Celtics are going to take care of business here. We're going to take care of business right now. We thank Monarch Money for sponsoring our Locked On Celtics postcast. Again, episode 1 of the NBA playoffs. We are here. We want you to be here right along with us for instant reaction after every Celtics playoff game going forward. They need 16. Now they only need 15. 16 wins for the Celtics in the NBA playoffs, including 4 in the NBA finals, and they'll win their second straight NBA title. It's going to be a while before we get there, and as Mike Breen again said, a long way to go, but a good start with a Game 1 victory against the Orlando Magic. We will be back with you Wednesday, and again, we'll be on within minutes of the final buzzer of Game 2 of the first-round playoff series between the Magic and the Celtics. We do tip our cap to you, and again, we wish you a sincere happy Easter to you and your family as well. Locked On Sports. Locked On Sports Boston. Number 1 place to hang out immediately after every game. Tell your friends about us. They can join us too on Wednesday after game 2. Locked On Sports Boston. Number 1 place, again, to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports. Your team, your Celtics, every day.